Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Town of Grand Falls-Windsor Council meeting for Tuesday, November 18th. First thing I'll do is call the meeting to order and ask for a motion to adopt the agenda. Can I have a motion to adopt it? Councillor Hiscock, seconded by Councillor James. Any discussion with respect to the agenda? There being none, all in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Just before I get to some presentations, we have to make Councillor Bennett, or Deputy Mayor Bennett, I'm sorry, is not able to make it tonight. He's ill, and we certainly wish him better days ahead. But he's really ill tonight, and we're concerned about him. And like I said, better days ahead for Deputy Mayor Bennett. Okay, and then we'll move on. We have no proclamations tonight, but we do have a presentation, and I'm going to call on Councillor Feener to come up to make those presentations, please. And if I can have the families down that won the Halloween contest, could you come up front, please?
During our recent Red Maple Festival, we hosted a Best Decorated Halloween House and Business Contest. Residents registered with our Community Services Department to be eligible for the contest, and on Monday, November 3rd, myself and some community services staff reviewed all the entries. As can be seen from the pictures posted on our town Facebook page, all the spooky entries were wonderfully creative. It was evident that our residents put a lot of time and effort into their decorating. The first, second, and third place winners were Ashley Hoff, Carol Reed, hole-in-one body piercing, and Matthew Gerard. Congratulations to all the winners.
Thank you.
Win.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go over there. Go over there. Perfect. Thank you.
Caroline Reed.
We'll give Caroline her prize. We'll give Caroline her prize.
I'll just leave that here.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, bud.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Feener. Congratulations to all the winners, and thanks for everybody for taking part. We had many houses take part in the Halloween decorating contest, and thank you all for participating. Okay, well, can I have a motion for the adoption of the minutes from October 28th, please? Councillor James, moved by Councillor James, second by Councillor Hollett. Any errors or omissions? No errors or omissions. All in favor of the adoption of the minutes from October 18th? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Any discussion with respect to the minutes of October 18th?
Mr. Mayor?
Councillor James.
Sorry, maybe I missed something here, but are we talking about October 18th or October 28th?
October 28th, I'm sorry. Thank you, Councillor James. Any discussion on the minutes from October 28th? There being none, we'll move on to the first order of business. And I'll call on Councillor Feener, please, for item number 8.1, an information note with respect to winter readiness.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council reviewed an update on the town's operational readiness for winter snow and ice control operations. Public Works is preparing for the upcoming winter season, and the majority of their fleet is ready. The remaining equipment is expected to be fully operational and assigned by mid-November. Winter shift work to commence on Sunday, November the 16th. Equipment readiness: 3 flyers, plow trucks, 3 sand salt trucks and plows, 7 loaders equipped with wing and blade, 3 trackless units for sidewalk clearing, large snowblower attachments available for the JD 644 loaders for use during the heavy snowfalls. Brine application system setup is still ongoing. Staff are working to have the system operational as soon as possible to support the pre-treatment operations during freeze and thaw cycles. On-street parking ban. The annual winter on-street parking ban for the town of Grand Falls-Windsor took effect November the 1st. Residents are reminded that no vehicle is permitted to be parked on any roadway during designated overnight hours or during snow clearing operations. This policy is critical for safe and efficient snow removal operations. Full policy details are available on our town's website. Thank you.
Feener. Any more discussion with respect to item number 8.1 on the winter readiness? Councillor Hollett, please.
Just wondering about the status of the brine. Is that
It's still ongoing.
still ongoing? Any idea when?
No, I think they were waiting for some equipment to arrive.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hollett. Any more discussion with respect to winter readiness? And of course, the town of Grand Falls-Windsor is ready to go. If we get any snow, that's the biggest question now. The last few winters, we've had very little snow. And certainly we need some this winter for various reasons. And we hope to get some. Yeah, Councillor Cody, please.
Yeah, I should just add, while we're talking about being winter ready, our parking restrictions are now active as well for overnight snow clearing operations. So just be mindful that no overnight parking on the roads. We're not really heavy-handed when it comes to times when it's not snowing. But if there is any forecasted weather, please be sure that you are parked safely in your driveway or off the roadway so that our snow clearing equipment can safely pass. You will be ticketed and possibly towed if you do impede our snow clearing operations.
Thank you, Councillor Cody. Anybody else with respect to Councillor Hollett?
What Councillor Cody was just saying, will the MEOs be available to the snowplow operators?
Yes.
For when there are vehicles, because impeding is certainly an issue, right?
Right, I suspect they are, but Mr. Finn can answer that question.
Typically, the operators report into their supervisor if there's any vehicles that are obstructing their operations, and the supervisors reach out to the MEOs as required. More often, they just go around them, depends on the conditions and the time of day. Like in the day, you can be on the road, right?
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Hollett. And like I said, we ask for the cooperation from the citizens with respect to this and to make sure the vehicles are off the road during any significant snowstorms, if in fact we have any. Last call for item 8.1 on the winter readiness. There being none, we'll move on to another information note on household hazardous waste. Councillor Feener, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council reviewed an information note on household hazardous waste, Collection Day held on October 2025 in partnership with Central Newfoundland Waste Management, and to highlight the materials collected and the ongoing importance of these events. Materials collected. During the event, the following hazardous materials were accepted and removed for safe processing and disposal. 1.5 drums of aerosols, 1 drum of propane cylinders, 2 D-packs, hazardous chemical containers, 1 drum of household batteries, 1 propane storage cage, 4 containers trays of spray products, approximately 800 liters of waste oil. This demonstrates a strong level of participation from residents and a continued need for these disposal opportunities. Cost of event. Total cost to the town was $2,976, which covers staffing, equipment, usage, bin truck, cube van, pickup, fuel, and meals. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Feener. Any more discussion with respect to the Household Hazardous Waste Day? Councillor James.
Approximately 800 liters of waste oil, so my question is, and we had a brief discussion on this the other day, how do we dispose of this, or do we reuse it, or what is the process with that particular product?
The household hazardous waste days are managed by Central Waste Management, so they got a management or disposal process for all the lines of hazardous waste, or other streams of waste like garbage and recycled materials. To answer your question specifically on waste oil, I'm not sure how they dispose of it, but I have confidence they have a good, safe process for disposing of all their products. Some of the waste oils that they would get rid of may not be just waste oils, it may be mixed with other materials, so like exactly how they process it or how they hand it off to somebody else to reprocess it or just dispose of it, I just don't know the answer to that, but I have high confidence that that is their specific role, to manage the disposal of waste oil and other hazardous materials, aerosols, propane, lubricants, it's all types of paints, all these streams. And we also spoke the other day about batteries, and that's something we have to follow up on, see if we can find something local. The other, local in terms of how someone can dispose of like batteries locally. And maybe that's something we could add to in our town for the convenience of citizens. Yeah, so.
That's right, Central Newfoundland Waste Management handle all that, Councillor James, and they're bound by regulations by the provincial government to ensure that this stuff is, wherever they store it, it's safe and not in the environment.
If I can follow up, Mr. Mayor, just, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but do we not have some of that product that we actually reuse ourselves? And do we probably give people an opportunity, if they found a safe way to reuse this particular product, would we be able to let them access this product? Because I was under the impression that sometimes, like up in the depot, we would take some of this stuff and we would reuse it. I'm just wondering if I'm accurate on that.
Mr. Chapman?
Yeah, the oil that the Central Waste collect is from residents of town. What we collect in the garage ourselves, we have given it to local businesses here in town over the years, but we've recently have an oil burner ourselves now. We will use it ourselves. But what they collect, they keep. We don't take that.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Chapman.
Thank you, Councillor James and Mr. Finn. Any more questions or comments with respect to the Household Hazardous Waste Day? Councillor Feener.
Just one more point, Mr. Mayor. We do this twice a year, pickup at our park there, but the waste disposal site is open all year round from Monday to Friday, Monday to Saturday. So if anybody had any hazardous waste, they don't have to hang on to it for 6 months or anything for us to come around. They can actually bring it out to Norris Arms themselves.
That's right, correct.
Thank you.
Good point, Councillor Feener. All right, and I know those days are certainly worthwhile when you look at what has been collected and the cost to do such. Certainly worthwhile for the town of Grand Falls-Windsor to be involved in this. Any more comments with respect to the Household Hazardous Waste Day? There being none, we'll move on to item number 8.3. Councillor Feener, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Council have reviewed an information note on operational highlights and key work completed by the Public Works Division up to the end of October 2025. The Public Works Division continues to be fully engaged throughout the fall and into the winter season, responding to events, infrastructure needs, and service requests. The following summarizes key activities completed to the end of October 2025. Water and sewer, 88 plug sewer calls, 46 water leaks, 13 main break repairs, 73 curb stop repaired along with 98 curb stop locates, another 4 curb stops replaced, 141 water on and off, more than 500 meters of water and sewer lines installed and or replaced, including new service connections, have been completed in total. 10 hydrants replaced and repaired. Status of infrastructure maintenance. Asphalt patching, 3,044.2 square meters. Signage, 4 street signs, 95 regulatory signs, 65 signposts. Concrete work, 45.10 meters curb and gutter, 733.75 meters sidewalk, 12 manhole repairs, 30 catch basin repairs, and over 85 CBM concrete used. Over 40 MHCB repairs as well. Over 4,300 liters of road paint used. Approximately 1,900 meters of crack dealing completed. Parks operations. Landscaping, 671.50 square foot of topsoil seed use. 1,102.30 square feet of sod use. Regular stadium maintenance. Ice preparation at the Joe Burns Stadium for the winter season. Preparing for upcoming winter season, including decoration of Church Road Park.
And certainly compliments to our staff who do all that work and do it well and do it in a timely fashion, I might add. So thanks to all the men and women that do all those activities for the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. Any more comments with respect to Councillor Feener's information note? Okay, thank you, Councillor Feener. We'll move on to item number 9.1. And I'll call on Councillor Hiscock to read an information note on 911 readiness, please.
Thank you, Mayor. To update council on the town's successful achievement of NG 911 or Next Generation 911 readiness status and outline ongoing requirements for maintaining accurate civic address data to support emergency services. The town of Grand Falls-Windsor has officially achieved readiness status for Next Generation 911. The province's upcoming emergency communication system, NG 911, will modernize how emergency calls are managed by automatically providing a caller's location to first responders and eventually allowing for text and video messaging to 911. This is a major step forward in public safety and digital readiness. Town staff will maintain this status by regularly updating civic addressing data as new developments occur. The Provincial 911 Division under the Department of Justice and Public Safety has confirmed that the town of Grand Falls-Windsor civic address data now meets the accuracy standards required for inclusion in the Next Generation 911 system. 911 represents the modernization of emergency services from the current basic 911 model, which relies solely on caller providing information, to an advanced GIS, which is a Geographic Information System based platform capable of automatically transmitting the caller's phone number and geographic location via civic address or XY coordinates to 911 call takers. Future enhancements will also include text to 911 and video messaging capabilities, significantly improving emergency response accuracy and efficiency. And also as a part of this, Mayor, as we spoke about in our last meeting, talking to Chief McKenzie about people having their numbers of their houses visible on their houses, which helps to enhance everything. And as you know, in emergencies, Mr. Mayor, is that every second counts. So if homeowners can just take the time to put the number on their homes if it's not there already and make sure it's visible. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock. And certainly the vast majority of residents in Grand Falls-Windsor certainly have numbers on the houses, but we ask for those who don't to take that step, and it's for your own safety and certainly for the safety of our volunteer fire department and first responders as well. Any more comments with respect to the new 911 system? Councillor Feener, please.
Mayor, I just want to add that we're looking at the oh, just lost train of thought.
That's okay.
Street names.
Street names?
Street names.
Yes, I was talking about some streets in our town still have the same name,
Right.
first name.
Yeah.
I know that's been the issue. I know we brought it up in the council meeting, the last meeting, so I'm hoping we're going to move forward with that at some time, very soon.
Okay. Yeah, no, I would say would be very soon. We've asked staff to pass along information they required through this, and I think it was in 2017 or 2018, we made an attempt to change some common street names in Grand Falls-Windsor, and we'll have a look at that again. So that information should be forthcoming sooner than later. Thank you. Any more comments with respect or discussion with respect to the 911 system? Oh, Councillor Howard.
I know during the meeting, Councillor Cody brought up a good item, and I don't know if we found out the information on it, was whether it was just the landlines or was it for cell service or exactly what this covered,
Right.
the NG 911. So did we find anything out on that?
I don't think we got more information on it. I think in the meeting we just assumed it was Jill's geolocating cell phones, how the next generation 911 system was able to detect that landlines are specific address. They are
Already.
civic addressed already, so they have that information from the telecom companies. So I don't have that information. Vince really is mostly engaged with the folks that manage that with Foreign Emergency Services. So I could probably get that information, but I don't have it tonight.
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Howitt. Any more discussion or questions, comments with respect to item 9.1? Okay, there being none, we'll move on to item number 9.2. Councillor Hiscock, it's a decision note with respect to a parcel of land.
Thank you, Mayor. Approval is requested to formally return the unused cemetery designated land previously granted to the former town of Windsor back to the Crown to enable potential future development opportunities. And I propose that council approve the return of the former Windsor cemetery parcel to Crown lands, allowing the Crown to retain control and expedite future developments or land transfers in this area as required.
So can I have a seconder for Councillor Hiscock's motion, please? Councillor Feener, thank you. Any discussion with respect to the motion?
Thank you, Mayor. The subjective property was historically granted to the former town of Windsor solely for cemetery purposes. The land has never been developed as a cemetery, nor is it required for that purpose in the foreseeable future. Recent and ongoing development in the surrounding area, along with expected future growth, has increased the strategic value of this parcel for potential residential or commercial expansion. A portion of this land is also protected under the Municipal Habitat Stewardship Agreement, which is a piece of this land, Mayor, it's Ibney's Road, and parcel of that land is adjacent to the Corduroy Brook area. As land was granted only for cemetery use, the town does not legally own it or other purposes. Any attempts to develop or repurpose the land would require prior approval and transfer from Crown lands. A portion of the original grant was previously returned to the Crown and subsequently granted to a developer. That process proved efficient and allowed timely development. Returning this remaining parcel now ensures that any future development needs or land requests will not be delayed by Crown lands transfer timeline. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock. Any discussion or comments with respect to Councillor Hiscock's resolution? Sure. Councillor James.
Mayor Brown, I'm trying to make sure I got a little bit of action here on the process. So the Crown gave us this land. When we decided we'd probably do a different use it's the process we ship it back to Crown lands, and then when we want to get more use of it, they can give us all or a parcel of it back, and then we can do as we see fit as a council to develop or transfer that land to somebody else. Is that how that process works with Crown land?
It is. Normally what we do is, well, a lot of times Crown land will come to the council and come to the management, and they will say, an individual is looking for a parcel of land on any given street. So they will ask for council's approval. Council will either approve it or not approve it. We'll send it back to Crown lands, and the Crown lands will then make a decision with respect to that land and whether it's to be given up to an individual, a group, or a resident.
And if I can go one step further, so then does that allow council to decide, okay, we can actually sell that land and get money back, or is that just automatically handed over to developers or people that want to use that land properly?
The Crown government gives Crown land to municipalities for free for cemetery purposes, so they don't charge a fee. So this land, it's in on Ibney's Road, so it would have been granted before any of the housing development went in there.
Right.
So probably 50 years ago, plus it was given to the former town of Windsor, actually, right? And so it came into our control when the towns amalgamated. So we're just turning it back in because, we're not keeping it for that purpose anymore. It's not an area we're in our future land use planning, we will have a cemetery. So because it won't be a cemetery, the right thing to do is just return it to the Crown. It's their land to control after that point. And that can be for a developer, which we know a developer wants to expand in that area. And so when that developer gets up to that point in a few years' time, they can make application for that next phase of land that's in that area. And there's other land there that it's in conservation land anyway, so like no one will develop it. And we wouldn't have carried on with a cemetery in that land, in that area anyway, because the zoning changed in the years subsequent to us getting the land granted for the purpose of a cemetery. So really it just returns to the Crown, and it gets managed like the rest of the portfolio of Crown land.
So, Mr. Mayor, okay, so that's one set example, which I understand. But, like, when it comes to Crown land, if we wanted to go after a big chunk of Crown land, and they said, okay, we'll agree, is inside your boundaries, you can have this Crown land and develop it which way you see fit, then can we monetize that property?
Yes, but we would have to pay for it we'd have to pay.
So much of that money would go back to the Crown, but so much of it could be in the coffers of the town of Grand Falls-Windsor.
It's kind of a thing, like we can buy land, we can buy big spots of land, they would sell a lot of it to us. And they sell, I think the rate is generally $20,000 an acre. But we wouldn't go buy the land because it would just tie up our money. When the government will just hold it for free. And they won't sell it to us unless they consult with us anyway. So like a developer just can't come and buy land and carry on without our knowledge. They consult with us because it's within our municipal boundaries, that's a requirement for them. So for us to go and buy a swat of land, it would be more efficient from a time point of view because you don't have to deal with the Crown anymore, but you do tie up local money for speculation. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And with respect to Crown land, we often have to wait too long, in our opinion, for land to be transferred from the Crown to the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. And we were hoping that in the coming weeks and months that will be expedited, and the months-long wait for land will not take place anymore, and we can access that land right away through the Crown. But up to this point, it's taken ages for some of that land to be transferred to the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. Any more discussion with respect to Councillor Hiscock's resolution? Sorry, Councillor Hullett?
So this was a block of land that was given to the former town of Windsor for cemetery purposes. Do we have another location identified for a cemetery going forward?
No, we have been looking at several areas with respect to a new cemetery, and none identified, and we have identified some land for cemetery purposes. Go ahead, Mr. Finn.
They were narrowed down to a couple of locations we're looking at, but we're soil testing, digging some test pits to see what the soil conditions are before we bring it back to council for whether or not we have a viable option or not. So we can speculate on lots of areas, but really we got to know what soil conditions are and what's around it. It's not that easy to find a good spot for a cemetery.
Prime land.
We're certainly looking at it, and this block of land is not even something we had in our view in terms of a possibility. So it was, even when town of Windsor would have gotten it, it would have been quite a distance away from anybody living close to it, you know.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Cody.
Yeah, just for some more information, previous council before the election did meet with the cemetery committee to discuss their future needs, and I was going to say lifespan, that's probably not the right term when you're talking about a graveyard, but the amount of land available to them to extend their boundary. So they have several years left before they will run out of available land for their burials. So they're keeping us up to date. We meet with them on a regular basis. We'll meet with them again. They're aware of the areas of land areas that we are looking at and possibly suggesting. So they're kept up to speed on anything that we talk about as well. So it's not something that has to happen overnight. They have, I think it was 15 years, I think one of them stated, before they actually, run out, like hit that Scott Avenue, Goodyear Avenue boundary. I believe it is Cranley, that area.
Yeah, that's right.
So I mean, they're not going to run out overnight, We have some time, but they're working with us through the whole process to make sure it's suitable, and they're going to keep us up to date on their future needs. And we've also spoken about different types of burials and what are they called? Columbariums, right? Where it's the brick structures that you can place the urns in that take up a lot less space, and you can build up and lengthwise, so it doesn't take so much of your footprint. So we've discussed all that with the committees, and yeah, so we'll be okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cody. Any more discussion with respect to the cemetery parcel to Crown Lands? We got a motion by Councillor Hiscock and a seconder by Councillor Feener. All in favour?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Item number 9.3, Councillor Hiscock, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Council approval is requested to initiate Municipal Plan Amendment Number 21, 2025, and Development Regulations Amendment Number 28, 2025, to add short-term rental as a discretionary use within the Commercial Neighborhood CN Zone. And I propose that Council approves the initiation of Municipal Plan Amendment Number 21, 2025, and Development Regulations Amendment Number 28, 2025, to add short-term rental as a discretionary use within the Commercial Neighborhood Zone.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock. Can I get a second for the motion, please?
One second.
Councillor Cody, thank you very much. Any discussion with respect to the motion? Councillor Hiscock, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The town is proposing changes to the municipal plan and development regulations to allow residential units in the commercial neighborhood zone to be used as short-term rentals. Current regulations permit or allow discretionary residential uses, but do not include STR, short-term rentals. The amendments will add short-term rental as a discretionary use within the commercial neighborhood zone, and allow council to assess each short-term rental application individually to ensure compatibility with neighboring properties, and to support the adaptive reuse of former commercial or public buildings to enabling both long-term and short-term accommodation options, and improve the feasibility of redevelopment projects and support neighborhood revitalization. And this approval is only to start the formal amendment process under the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, including public notice, consultation, and scheduling a public hearing. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock. Any more discussion or questions, comments with respect to item number 9.3? Councillor Hollett.
I just want to clarify, I guess, for the citizens, exactly what a commercial neighborhood zone is. Like that, we're not referring to like our commercial zones, like our high streets or our main streets. These are like within a commercial designated area within a neighborhood. Is that correct?
There's a couple of areas, there's a few areas in town that are classified as commercial. In our development regulations, like we have commercial zones, we have industrial zones, industrial light, and each zone describes the type of business that are allowed. So this is for the commercial neighborhood zone, which is like in this area, like Upper Broad Snack Bars, I suppose it was called that, is a commercial neighborhood zone. Centennial Groceteria is another example of a commercial neighborhood zone. And there's others, I just can't remember at the moment. But in that zone, this amendment change allows for those commercial properties or business properties to be also, a business owner can use them for short-term rentals, like an Airbnb type of arrangement or a bed and breakfast. It's still a commercial activity, so it just broadens the use that can go on in that type of zone. And that's what this amendment allows, but it's still a discretion of council, is not a permitted use.
That's my next question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Council will decide on what goes where when the time comes. Any more comments or questions with respect to item 9.3? Okay, we got a mover and a seconder. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion is carried. Item number 9.4, permit statistics to the end of October 2025. Councillor Hiscock, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This is to update council on permit statistics up to the end of October 2025. Permit stats of October 2025 reveal evolving patterns in residential development. 36 new housing units created up to October 31st, compared to 16 at the same time in 2024. 11 new single-family housing units were created with one additional basement apartment unit with combined value of $1,940,000 compared to 10 units and one additional basement apartment with combined value at $2,782,000 in 2024. 12 new double dwelling housing units were created with a value of $1.5 million. 2 5-unit multiplex units created value of $1.3 million compared to 1 unit multiplex unit in 2024 valued at $789,000. Residential general repairs. There were 137 residential general repairs permits issued as of October 31st, 2025, valued at $1,521,508, down from 156 permits in 2024. Accessory buildings in the residential, in 2025, there were 73 permits issued for accessory buildings, fences, patio decks, valued at $565,152 compared to 57 permits issued in 2024, valued at $736,603. The commercial trend, commercial new construction. In 2025, one permit was issued for new commercial construction valued at $1.2 million compared to 3 permits issued in 2024 valued at $6,290,000. Commercial repairs, renovations, and extensions. Commercial renovations in 2025 totaled 7 permits valued at $1,255,800, slightly down from 6 permits valued at $1,553,000 in 2024. General repairs decreased to 8 permits, $301,200 in 2025 from 11 with a value of $339,001 in 2024. There was 1 commercial extension recorded in 2025 valued at $250,000, Mayor.
Thank you for that information. Councillor Hiscock. Any comments or questions with respect to item number 9.4? Certainly the most exciting news is the new bills. I think we were up to 26 new bills. But in October, there's 4 more since then, located in different areas around the town, Lind Avenue, Riverview Road, where else? Main Street West. Thank you, Councillor Janes. And we know of more units to be built in the spring. So I think we've turned the corner with respect to new bills and providing adequate housing for, all parts of our town and for all different incomes. There will be some new opportunities for people to move here, and there will be some opportunities for seniors who often would like to get out of their current dwelling and into a seniors complex, so this will help that as well. Any more comments or questions with respect to item 9.4? There being none, we'll move on to item number 10.1. Councillor Cody and the disbursement report, please.
No, one more,
sorry.
Mr. Mayor. Yeah, there's one more. Yeah, 9.5, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Hiscock, can you go ahead with item 9.5? I don't seem to have here, which is
Thank you, Mayor.
strange.
Council's direction is required, council approval is required for the acceptance of the Provincial Targeted Infrastructure Fund agreement and the council resolution for the sludge drying bed for Regional Water Treatment Plant project. And I propose that council approve the acceptance of $1,272,680.55 in additional funding under the Canada Community Building Fund, allocated through the Provincial Targeted Infrastructure Fund to support the sludge drying bed project at the Regional Water Treatment Plant. With this additional funding, the total project cost is now $2,843,057.55 net of HST rebate. The project remains fully funded 100% by federal and provincial governments.
Can I have a seconder for Councillor Hiscock's motion, please? Councillor Cody, thank you. Any discussion with respect to item 9.5?
Thank you, Mayor. This work is, and this funding It's through the hard work of Mr. Chapman and his office and Mr. Chad Glendenning, who done phenomenal work to arrange all this project and get the funding. The sludge drying bed is infrastructure that is required at the water treatment plant for the purpose of dewatering sludge that has accumulated in the 2 existing lagoons. Minister Chris Tibbs confirmed project approval under the Canada Community Building Fund on November the 6th, 2025. Total project is $3,135,143.92, or $2,843,057.55 net of HST rebate. To access funding, the town must sign the ultimate recipient agreement as per attached documentation. Council must provide a resolution to government confirming acceptance of this funding.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock. Any discussion or comments, questions with respect to item number 9.5? Can I, Councillor Hollett, please?
Just curious, once we get this funding, how long will it take to actually get the tender or the RFP or whatever process we're going to use to actually get this sludge drying bed in motion?
Mr. Chapman?
The design is about 95% completed. We got to get a permit from Environment. We're open to do tendering in the spring.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Hollett. Any more comments, questions, discussion with respect to item number 9.5? Councillor Hiscock.
Yes, Mayor. If I might just enlighten more, this is hard work that's ongoing behind the scenes by our staff. Our staff have allocated and done copious amounts of work identifying shovel-ready projects so when money becomes available. It may not be out to the public until the monies are released and these projects are started. But I just wanted to say once again, hats off to our staff for once again, great work that enabled us to get over $3 million for this project with no cost to our town and residents. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock. And certainly our thanks to Minister Tibbs, too, for providing that funding to complete this project. So we're off to a good start with Minister Tibbs. Mr. Finn, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just add to Councillor Hiscock's comment. And this 2.5 plus million for the sludge drying bed is part of an overall suite of work. It's valued basically almost $10 million in different work we're doing at the water treatment plant, some of which we've completed, more that we have to do. We have to change, we got funding to do the filters, the storage tanks, the water storage tanks, the inside of those tanks need to be refurbished or restored, however you want to call it. And there's a bunch of work that we're still looking at. So this is funding that we're taking advantage of in terms of it being 100% available because our water supply is regional. It services 5 municipalities, and so this is a great advantage that we're taking a great advantage to the community that we're taking advantage of. And so we're getting some great work modernizing our plant, modernizing a lot of equipment and in our plant. So it's really good for our community for sure. And I just want to add one more comment, if I may, on the sludge drying bed. For those who may not understand what it is, it's our water treatment plant is a settling system where we settle organics in our water supply, and when we're doing the processing, and then we flush all the organics out into lagoons, and those lagoons build up over time all these organics, and so the lagoons fill up with this sludge, and now we're at a point where we got to get it out of the lagoons and get it dry so that we can transport it, because it would be really expensive to transport it in the liquid form because there's so much of it. It'd be millions. And so this drying bed is just a level field with a little tilt on it so that the sludge will settle and dry out and the liquid will run back into the lagoons. Sounds very simple. It's very expensive for such a simple concept, but it has to be built in the right way so that the water can escape and the sludge remain. So that's what it is.
Councillor Janes.
And on the environmental side, I noticed a note here. The project will enable the town to manage the sludge removal in an environmentally safe manner. So where are we to on the environmentally safe manner disposal? Do we have a plan in place? Was it required before we apply for this funding, or how are we going to dispose of this stuff? Do we have any ideas?
Good question, thank you. Mr. Chapman or Mr. Finn?
We'll transport. The management of the sludge building, this work is, we've had to get environmental permits to do it, so it is the right process. We consult with Water Resources and the whole process of everything we do at the water treatment plant. The sludge material that will be dried out will have to get transported in a dry form to the waste management facility.
So the waste management facility we're talking about is the one down in North Zarum, that way?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Janes. Any more comments, or Councillor Hollett?
Quick question.
Yep.
In regards to the sludge, like, is that done on a regular basis, the maintenance, the removal of this, or how does that process actually work? And
It will be part of our maintenance going forward. To date, how long has that plant been there?
Usually each lagoon is 2 lagoons at the water treatment plant. They usually go anywhere from 7 to 9 years, depending on the amount of water we use before the full. In the past, we used to excavate it and just transport to the old Grand Falls dump down the body incinerator. But since they closed that one there, now we haven't removed any sludge in a few years, so now we're getting to the point where we got to take it out and dry it before we can transport it. We tried to get it back into the old dump, but the Department of Environment wouldn't permit it.
so going forward, would we be removing it and putting it in the drying beds, or is that what the intent of this is?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chapman. Thank you, Councillor Hollett. Any more questions, discussion with respect to that? There being none, I got a mover. Can I get a seconder for Councillor Hiscock's resolution, please? Councillor Hollett, thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Now we'll move on to item 10.1. Councillor Cody, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The disbursement report for October of 2025. The summary of disbursements greater than $1,000 for council review. The information notice prepared by staff and reviewed by council provides a summary of disbursements over $1,000 as of October 31st, 2025, in the amount of $1,862,595.19. Also disclosed on the report are the pre-authorized payments of $305,048.70 and invoices under $1,000 in the amount of $31,301.58. The town's disbursements for this period reflect necessary operational costs, capital commitments, and community investments, in addition to payments relating to partnerships with other government agencies. Management will continue to monitor expenses and report disbursements at future meetings.
Thank you, Councillor Cody. Any questions or comments with respect to the disbursement report? Okay, there being none, we'll move on to, or do you have any comments, Councillor Cody?
I don't.
Okay. We'll move on to item number 10.2, the taxation receivable analysis.
Thank you, Mayor. Taxation receivable analysis for October of 2025. The information notice prepared by staff and reviewed by council, which provides a summary of taxation receivables as of October 31st, 2025. The total taxation receivables amount is $4,055,728.23, which is an increase of $723,996.08, an increase of 21.73% compared to the previous year. The accounts receivable aging shows that 63% of the receivables are current, with the remaining amounts spread across 1 year, 2 years, and 3+ years. Monthly collections for October 2025 amounted to $604,656, which is 13% of the total accounts receivable. Staff have been utilizing water shutoffs and sending reminder statements to residents and businesses who have yet to pay their balances. Please contact the Town Hall at 489-0402 or 489-0403, or 489-0404 with any questions about your tax bill. Budget and financial implications. The total tax revenue for 2025 increased by approximately 12%, and this impacts the outstanding balance. As of October 2025, amounts on the payment plan increased by $279,923 compared to the prior year. The majority of these balances will be paid off by December, while some payment plans are spread out over a couple of years. The total outstanding relating to a payment plan at October 2025 is $1,634,938, which is 40% of the total outstanding receivables. So management will continue to monitor taxation receivables and will report back at future meetings.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Cody. Any comments, questions, or concerns with respect to item number 10.2, the taxation receivable analysis for this month? Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Cody.
Yeah, just a reminder, staff have been doing a great job in following up. We have had a lot of successes, like the director prepared, in the water shutoffs. Clearly going into the winter months, water shutoffs are not an option to us at this time of the year. So we would encourage residents who are on payment plans to continue making those payments on the regular scheduled basis. New tax bills will be coming out in January, so we would encourage you to be paid up before the end of the year so that there's no interest accruing moving into the new year. If you are experiencing financial hardship, we will work with you. We will be as accommodating as we can be based on your situation, and we'll come up with a reasonable payment plan that will work for you as well as for the town with regards to our collections. So, there's no shame in coming in and speaking to us. We even have private meeting rooms in our town hall where you can go in and discreetly have a conversation and work with the staff. So please reach out if you are having difficulty or if you have any questions, and we'll certainly do our best to work with you to resolve those outstanding taxes.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Cody. Anybody else with respect to that item number? Councillor Hollett.
Quick. So are we finding that, is this just a sign of the times, or do we feel like there's something other than just hard economic times that are causing the increase? Is it
Mr.
just
Goss,
a general thing, or is there something specific in regards to?
Yeah, and I think that's probably part of it. Everybody has different bills to pay, and a lot of times municipal taxes are probably lower on the totem pole than, putting food on your table or paying your light bill or all those kinds of things. But that doesn't mean they're, any less important, because it's, important services that the town of Grand Falls-Windsor offers, and that's what the residents are paying for. So, we'll continue to keep plugging away at trying to collect all these taxes and all the outstanding amounts and work from there.
Just another quick question. I know with mortgages, a lot of times the taxation is included with that. So are we having trouble with those amounts, or is this just non-related to mortgages? It's not related to
All
mortgages?
those are paid in March.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I'll just
Councillor.
add to that as well, Director and Mayor.
Yep.
Absolutely can be a sign of the times, but we also had an increase last year, so of course the amount owing by residents was higher, so that's reflected in the outstanding amounts as well. If we're comparing to last year and this year in relativity to the percentages of owing, we're up a little bit, but again, it's related to the increase last year as well. So we're hoping that'll balance out. Moving into November, well, we're into November, but into December for sure. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Cody. Councillor Janes.
Yeah, just a quick question here. Do we have a set rules of term for length of, like if you owe a certain amount of money on your taxes, do you have we'll give you up to 3 years or 4 years to pay it off? Or do we have a set time frame where you have to have your delinquency paid off within 3 years or 5 years? Do we have a firm time frame where it's got to be paid off? Do we have a system in place for that?
Mr. Goss, please.
Well, they're due in March, and if you're on a payment plan, the majority of them had to be paid by December, so as long as it's paid within the current year. Now, obviously, if people have issues making that payment, or if they owe for multiple years, we will work with them. We just kind of use our judgment at this point. There's no, set rules of needs to be paid off in 2 or 3 years, but that's generally what it is. If it's a bigger balance, as long as you're paying more than what your actual monthly bill would be if you were current, then that means you're picking away at your arrears, right?
So if I may again, do we have like a minimum and a maximum expectation here? Like who decides if I'm in arrears and I'm 2 or 3 years behind, I'm trying to make this work, do I go in and tell you that, okay, this is all I can pay and this is what it's gonna be? Or do we sit down and at the end of the day, when you do a check on me and find out that, well, I can actually pay a little more here, so no, Davey, you're gonna pay this. Do we have those dialogues?
Yeah, well, it's always part of the conversation,
Yeah.
what the resident can pay and is willing to pay, as long as it's more than what that monthly bill would be, generally, we're okay with that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Councillor James. Councillor Cody.
I'll just add a little more to that. We definitely don't want people to go years and years without bringing their taxes up to date. There are other avenues available to us with regards to liens on property and tax sales as well, where we can recuperate should the property sell down the road. We would be the first to collect our taxes. So those are avenues also available to us. But again, we will work with you, but like I stated earlier, the payment plan has to be reasonable. You have to be making headway on that outstanding debt. We are not going to, we don't want that to continue to accumulate, which would only provide and cause further hardship for the individual trying to catch up on their taxes.
Thank you, Councillor Cody. Anybody else with respect to that information now? Councillor Hollett.
Like we have this in dollars and cents, do we have it in the number of citizens that are affected that are behind? Like, do we have a number
Yep.
in regards to that?
I can get you that for your next report.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hollett. Anybody else? Okay, we'll move on to item number 10.3. Garbage regulations update, Councillor Cody.
Councillor Hollett.
No, it says on my agenda that it's you.
Well, I'll do it.
Pardon me? Go ahead.
You're reading a
We can handle it. So this is a decision note, and there will be a decision on changes that will be made to garbage regulations to have language that reflects the Towns and Local Service District Act, as well as provide some clarity around placement of cardboard at the curbside for collection. So the proposed resolution, I recommend that the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor garbage, refuse, and recycling regulations reflect language in the Towns and Local Service Districts Act, and to clarify wording for a better understanding of the placement of cardboard at the curb. So the discussion around that item, some homeowners have been confused about how to properly place cardboard for collection. The proposed change clarifies that all cardboard must be placed inside a blue recycling bag and then set out at the curb inside a garbage container. So I move that council approve the language changes to the current garbage regulations.
Thank you, Councillor Cody. Can I get a second? Thank you, Councillor Feener. Discussion with respect to the item number. Go ahead, Councillor Cody.
Yeah, just some clarification again, because I know it can be confusing and sometimes it seems a little redundant and possibly silly to some residents. That, it's cardboard. A lot of times we'll have it, residents will bundle it, they'll have it broken down, bundled, and just laid on the roadside, leaning against their garbage container. And it gets left behind, and of course then the residents are upset. They don't understand why they have to take recyclable material like cardboard, put it in a blue garbage bag, and then put it in a garbage container. But the reason for that is that it gets wet, moves around the neighborhood, ends up out in the roadways, ends up in other people's properties, gets tangled up and collected into our snow clearing equipment and can cause issues. So we just wanted to, we've been communicating this to residents, but to have it now built into the policy and have that adjusted, it will just make it very clear for residents that if you have cardboard that you need collected, this is what needs to happen. It needs to be broken down in a blue bag and put in an acceptable garbage container at your curbside.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Cody, for that explanation. Councillor James.
Mr. Mayor, this is probably more for clarification purpose for me. Okay, so when we're talking about this blue bag thing, my question is, okay, so I take the cardboard, tie it up. Do I have to put that in a separate blue bag from all of my other recyclable material that's in my blue bag, or just wrap it up and I can include it in the same bag?
You can.
So I haven't got to go to do the 2-on-1 whammy?
No.
Okay.
It's just recycling.
Because, honestly, I struggled with that a little bit, because it wasn't quite, I was thinking, okay, well, maybe I got to fire it in a separate blue bag.
No.
So,
That's good. That's
as long as
good
it's
question.
neatly tied up and broken down proper, you can include it in the other bag?
Doesn't even have to be tied
Doesn't
up.
it? As long as you got it in the blue bag, we'll take it.
Wow, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councillor Cody.
I'll just clarify that. It doesn't need to be bundled. If you're putting it in the blue bag, it doesn't need to be bundled. You can tear it up into smaller pieces if you want. Depending on how big your garbage bin is and if it can fit in your bag, you don't even have to break the box down. You put the box in its original shape in the bag if you want to. And you can include your other recyclable materials, your tin cans or whatnot, however, whatever you want to use. So you can save on your bags, your blue bags. But as long as your bag will fit in your garbage container, your lid, again, must close, then it's fine to mix it with your other recyclable materials as well.
I can't resist it, so,
Councillor James.
I can't resist it, so we're not opening up a Pandora's box.
No. Thank you, Councillor James. Councillor Hollett.
In reading the new bylaws, it actually says that it has to be flattened out and securely tied with string, twine, or rope in convenient bundles and placed in a residential blue plastic recyclable bag. And it doesn't mention anywhere, I may have missed it, it's quite possible, anything's possible, but I didn't see anywhere where it said it had to go in a garbage container. It just said it had to be broken down, said it had to be bundled in twine, and I really don't understand why we would need to have to bundle it if we were putting it in a plastic bag. I can understand bundling it if it was going to be put by the side of a container.
Right.
But to be putting it in a plastic bag, why would you have to bundle? But according to this, it's item number 7, fiber recycling, item number 2.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Hollett. And I think if it is in the blue bag and the blue bag is tied and everything fits in your garbage can, we will take it. And thank you again, because we need to revisit that bylaw and make any necessary changes to the bylaw to match this new resolution going through.
You're referring to the original regulation, not the amended one.
No,
So I need-
garbage, refuse, and recycling bylaw.
Is that what it's
Before it
titled?
was before it was the
Oh, the second
regulations.
bylaw, okay. And what
This is the
section were
new
you
one,
re-
and it is Section 7, fiber recycling, and it's item number 2.
Flattened security. Yeah.
But in any case, we will revisit that bylaw,
But I just wanted to mention that it's
And,
clearly in the
Yeah, I see it
bylaws,
there.
so.
change
Thank
it
you.
as necessary. Thank you, Councillor Hollett, for that. So I get any more discussion or questions with respect to the new garbage bylaw? There being none, I get a mover and a seconder. All in favor? Any opposed? The motion is carried. We'll move on now to item 11.1. Councillor Hollett, please.
Oh. This is an information note for the Grand Falls-Windsor Fire Department Incident Responses Report for the third quarter for 2025. And it's to provide an overview of the fire department incident activity and trends for the period from July 1st to September the 30th, 2025, based on operational reports. And the discussion is the Grand Falls-Windsor Fire Department responded to 70 incidents during the third quarter of 2025. A breakdown of the calls for July 1st to September the 20th, September 30th. July, there were 17 calls. August, 32 calls. And September, there were 21 calls. And the average response time for those calls was 11 minutes and 41 seconds. Thank you.
Hollett. Any more discussion, comments, or questions with respect to item 11.1? I know our fire department calls are increasing every year. I think we had I think 30 to 35 more calls than we had the previous year, up to this point this year. And certainly the fire department was under some extra pressure this summer with respect to wildfires and having to help the town of Badger with a significant fire that took place up there. And then we sent some of our firefighters went to Kingston in near Conception Bay North to help with their, there was a dire situation out there as well. And we were happy to be able to accommodate their request for help with respect to trying to contain and control that fire. But as the years go by, there's a lot of extra pressure and stress on our firefighters here in Grand Falls-Windsor, and hats off to those people they handled it with class, professionalism, each and every time. Any more comments or questions with respect to Councillor Hollett's information note? Being none, we'll move on to 11.2. Councillor Hollett, please.
This is an information note for the Municipal Enforcement Quarterly Activity Report for the third quarter for 2025. And the activities cover the period from January the 1st, 2025 to September the 30th, 2025. And this report provides an overview of Grand Falls-Windsor Municipal Police bylaw enforcement activities for the third quarter. And some incident statistics are year-over-year comparisons. For 2024 to 2025, reported incidents is a 12.0% increase. The summary of offense tickets is a 67.63% decrease, and the written warnings is a 37.26% decrease. And then there's some more statistical information that is available. If any of the citizens wanted to reach out, we can certainly provide this information to them. And we just want to continue with our efforts to fill the MEO position, and the selection process is still ongoing.
Thank you, Councillor Hollett.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions with respect to the information note 11.2, municipal enforcement? Councillor James, please.
Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I'm looking at the summary offense tickets, the decrease of 67.63%, and the written warnings, a decrease of 37.26%. I'm concerned about that because that just basically tells me that something is happening here where our checks and balances are dropping. And I'm just curious, I was going to ask the CAO, because I know that we've had some issues with some staff that have been quite ill lately, and I'm wondering with that, and apparently we're short one MEO, is that contributing to the decrease? You know, like 2025 summary offense tickets issued 101, 2024 312. Written warnings issued in 2025 197 year to date, and 2024 314. That's a big decrease. So I'm thinking it's because of a few different other issues, or at least I'm hoping that's going to be the reason, because as we know, our MEOs are under extreme pressure lately with the quads, the dirt bikes, the speed bump lack or thereof or whatever, and this, you know, it's just all councillors are getting calls on it. So I'd like, you know, just to, hopefully my concerns will be allayed that it is a lot to do with health and that we're currently seeking a fourth MEO.
Okay, Mr. Finn?
Yeah, no, in the meeting we briefed you on, it was related to staff availability for various reasons, and that's precisely why you're seeing the year-to-date change or decrease in in the summary offenses and warning tickets. That's exactly the reason. And when if we were fully staffed, those reports would be more in line, which is why we produce them.
Mayor?
Councillor?
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, CAO. Now, the other thing is, so we're in the process now of trying to find another MEO. Am I correct on that?
That's correct.
We're in the search process. So I guess I got two questions. Number one is, are we restricted by budgetary means that we can't look at maybe adding another? And number two, how far along are we in the process of looking at this number 4 MEO? How far along in the hiring process?
We're in the middle of it. The hiring process is not something I would divulge the details in a public meeting about, for sure. But we're in the process of filling that. And with respect to other resources for our MEO, staff always welcome more resources, and I could suggest that we can add them to other departments as well.
Mr. Mayor, I look forward to having that discussion.
Thank you, Councillor James. And certainly our budget discussions are
Coming up.
quickly upon us, so we can discuss that at a time. Councillor Hollett?
I have several things, but just to add on, you asked a lot of my questions, so which is ideal. Wasn't there a new position, an MEO position, approved in the 2025 budget?
Yeah, there was a
That's
half a
the
position.
one we're filling.
Yeah. That's the one
Okay, so
we're filling.
that's been vacant since January?
No, since
No,
July.
because it was only funded from beginning in July.
Okay, so it was previously filled and then and there's another opening?
No, we budgeted
No,
to hire
it's
another
budgeted.
officer as of July 1st, 2025.
Okay,
It wasn't budgeted to start in January past,
okay,
even though it was announced in the budget, but it wasn't budgeted for the full year.
perfect,
Right.
thank you. And in regards to animal control, I know in the past that was an actually specific job with the town of Grand Falls-Windsor, and I think at some point it was incorporated into the MEO/animal control position. Is it my understanding, is it correct that there is no animal control position with the town in regards to?
All the MEOs are responsible for animal control duties. Depends on who's on shift. So we don't have anybody specifically assigned. It's when a call comes in, whoever's on shift, they deal with the animal control issue.
So it's no one truly specific, it's whoever's.
It is someone specific, it's whoever's on shift.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, because like you said, it used to be.
It's the same as every other offense or bylaw that falls under the auspices of the municipal enforcement. It depends on whoever's on shift, and the chief can handle it, because in this particular case, the chief actually can carry out duties of a constable, but the chief would normally assign it if he's also on shift, right?
Thank you. Traffic control is one of the incident reports listed, but it's kind of like a broad, I'm not quite sure if what comes under traffic control. Like, is that parking violations, is that moving violations, is that?
Speeding,
Kind of,
speeding, stop signs, parking, I think. No,
And traffic control will also come under funerals. We provide traffic control for
no,
funerals.
that's actually a separate item. Funeral
And,
escorts is, because this one is incidents reported, and it comes under traffic control because it's a significant increase. It's gone from 55 in 2024 to 122 in 2025, so it's something, and these are incidents that are reported. So I was just wondering what came under the banner of the
Yeah.
traffic control.
I'd have to get that information for you.
Okay, thank you.
There is a report that number would come from.
Councillor James?
I'm just wondering if, I'm guessing at some point in time, because the issues are so serious with law enforcement, and I'm not knocking the law enforcers, as I said in the campaign, because it's not the law enforcers. Are we getting ready, or are we entertaining an idea of maybe having a police type of symposium with various players from around the region, maybe some people from the province coming in, like the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary, the RCMP, our own MEOs, and sit down and have like a day or two conference to have a good discussion on what some other centers may or may not be doing, what we're not doing properly, what we are doing properly, how we can enhance it all. Because I don't have to tell anybody around the table or out in TV land, this is a big issue in everywhere, not only just here, It is, in fairness, it's everywhere. But I think if we haven't looked at that option, maybe we should look at putting off a law enforcement symposium, bringing all the partners, people that want to be here and the proper authorities, and really sit down for a couple of days and hash it out and come up with some recommendations.
Right.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor, and we have had those meetings with the head of the RCMP on 2 or 3 occasions. We've met with the officials from the Department of Justice as well, and explained to them that Grand Falls, Windsor, and the surrounding areas are in dire need of more RCM policing, in our case, not RNC. In each case, they took our information back, and we had a good report for them. I think there was an increase in the RCMP staffing here in Grand Falls, Windsor over the last couple of years. I think we got an extra 2 officers, if I'm not mistaken. And but that's only the tip of the iceberg. We need many, many more, and we look forward to meeting with the RCMP again as a new council and representatives of ministers, justice as well, to certainly impress on them that Grand Falls, Windsor, we feel is being somewhat ignored with respect to policing across the province, and our area is in dire need, because the Grand Falls, Windsor detachment at RCMP handled everything from buckets to leading tickles and everything in between. And some nights I know they're hard pressed to cover that area as well. So we look forward to those upcoming meetings, and certainly you'll be a part of that as well, Councillor Janes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor.
Councillor Cody.
Yeah, if I could just add to Councillor Janes, there is an association, a Newfoundland Labrador Association of Municipal Police and Enforcement Officers. So I would imagine, and I'm confident in saying that our members would be a member of that association. They have their regular events, conferences and meetings and whatnot. So, you know, maybe we could look at hosting their next or an upcoming event.
Good
But
idea.
they do have their own association. I know in the grand scheme of things, ideally, if we could get RCMP, RNCM, municipal police, and a lot of times, a lot of areas have commissionaires in the same room, yeah, that would be ideal. However, the level of policing and the level of training and the level of responsibility of RCMP, RNC, and municipal enforcement do vary greatly. So, you know, there's only so much information you can share and pass on. MEOs do their own types of training and are responsible for certain tasks within the community. So, again, like we have an excellent working relationship with the RCMP in our district, and, you know, we'll continue to work together with them. But I would caution, I appreciate your enthusiasm in wanting this to happen, but I just would caution that given the, you know, the responsibilities, the time constraints, and the shortage in staffing of RCMP, that, you know, the time to be able to do that and share that information and give up that time not only takes, you know, members away from their regular duties, it's difficult to find a time that works for everybody to bring that together.
Okay.
Councillor Janes.
Just a comment, thank you, Councillor Cody. So, well, I'm reading that it's possible that this can be done. I understand the hesitation to a degree, and the time constraints, but, you know, I think in light of what's happening in this province today, I'm sure that if there's a symposium proposed, that we can all make a conscious effort to get there. And I think it would be extremely beneficial for everybody. I know I could learn a heck of a lot from it. I'm sure that the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary would get a good piece of a feeling of what our MEOs in a place like Grand Falls, Windsor got to go through. And any little tool they could provide us, and maybe look at our bylaws, maybe internally, we could provide a little bit of teeth as well to our MEOs that may not cost us any or very little money. Like, for example, pretty soon I'm going to get a report that I requested, like out of the 100 traffic violations. My question was, how many tickets were issued for speeding out of 100? And that's basically on our MEOs, if I'm correct on that. So, if we got 100 tickets and we got 25 speeding tickets issued, with the speeding that goes on in this town, just go down by the high school at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 2:30 when they're getting it. I was down the other day. And they're coming at it there full bore. Like, the Roadrunner got them beat, and it's unbelievable. So, you know, if we're hindering our MEOs, is what I'm saying, is I don't have the detail. But if we're hindering MEOs because of staffing shortages or what have you, issuing speeding tickets that should be issued, or hindering our MEOs to be issuing tickets to people in mall parking lots in the stadium with all these handicap parking zones, if I'm using the term correctly, without offending anybody, and we can monetize it and penalize these people, because they should be penalized, discussion and discourse on this can only help. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor James. Any more comments or questions with respect to the municipal enforcement report for Q3? Councillor Hollett.
Just something that's going to
Yep,
be very brief.
sure.
But there has been a lot of talk in the media in the past few months, provincially and federally, in regards to extra policing for communities and getting the police. So I'm just wondering, with the recent federal budget, has there been anything in that for policing that we may be able to tap into? I mean, it's only announced yesterday, so it might be still fresh, but I don't know if it's something that we can certainly pursue, because any money that we can get towards policing, if it's available, I mean, now's the time to access it.
Well, and we certainly hope there is, and I think that'll come to light with our meeting with the RCMP and representatives of the Department of Justice here in the province. And then we'll find out if there was any money in the budget for extra policing. Let's hope there was. I know during the campaign, the provincial election campaign, I think all three parties actually had mentioned that more policing for Newfoundland and Labrador should be atop to the agenda. And like I said, we'll find out in the coming weeks whether that's going to come to fruition or not.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hollett. Councillor Cody?
I would also encourage members of council to reach out to your MP, Clifford Small, because the RCMP falls under federal jurisdiction, and to our two new ministers, Minister Tibbs and Minister Forsey, on the allocation for additional RCMP officers for the province. In actuality, it costs the province less to have RCMP officers than it does cost the province to have and pay for the RNC police force, which only covers a portion of the province, as we all know. So, you know, we have, again, an excellent relationship with our local detachment, Staff Sergeant Kelly Bryant and his team, and very forthcoming with information to us anytime we request to meet with him. He's also met with the Exploits Joint Council on several occasions to fill us in on staffing, coverage and responsibilities, files, number of files and cases that each detachment and each member of the RCMP detachment is tasked with. So again, I mean, we need to be lobbying the federal government and as well the provincial government because like I said, the RCMP costs the province less as that's, you know, the federal government pays the majority of the salaries for the RCMP. I think it's the province pays, I think it's 10% for our RCMP and like 100% for RNC.
I think the federal government pays 30% of each officer of a federal, so they're 30% cheaper, and the province has to pay 70. So I think every officer subsidizes it 30%.
Right, and the RNC costs the province 100%.
100%, so they're cheaper force, and they have national pull.
Exactly, yeah.
Right, and it's important to remember, too, that this council will keep pounding away on that, as did previous councils. And like I said, we did have some success in adding 2 officers here in Grand Falls-Windsor over the past few years, and we won't stop at that. We'll keep the provincial and federal government officials in line here and press on them that this is important to the people of Grand Falls-Windsor and surrounding communities. So we'll see what their answers are at the time. Councillor Janes.
Yes, just to finish myself off. So, the Royal Newfoundland, we all know the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary is in St. John's. So, are they in Pasadena, Corner Brook, Lab City?
Yeah.
So we got Pasadena,
CBS.
which is smaller.
CBS.
CBS depends on the region. Cornerbrook is not much bigger. Lab City is smaller, I do believe. So these forces are in these places. So maybe somebody could make a phone call or something and find out, okay, let's call Pasadena, and find, if you don't already know, just a suggestion, and find out, okay, so you got 6 officers, just using it as a number. What's it costing you in your municipal operating budget to maintain that force, along with maintaining the RCMP and your own MEOs? Just curious. So, thank you, Mr.
It's
Mayor.
not a municipal expense. The RCMP and RNC are not municipal expenses. We don't provide any funding to those 2 bodies. All that funding comes from the federal and provincial governments. You're absolutely right in saying that all those communities are policed by both the RCMP and the RNC. And we'll be looking forward to meeting with the ministers responsible and our federal government representative as well, and again, impress on them that Grand Falls-Windsor has probably waited long enough with respect to more policing, and we expect them to do better. Yes?
So, Mr. Mayor, so it's safe for me to say that we are going to have this dialogue, and we're going to fairly aggressively pursue an opportunity to, some point in time down the road, maybe have a Royal Newfoundland Constabulary force in this town.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're going to keep pursuing that.
Yeah.
We're going to be aggressive. We're going to be passively aggressive,
No,
if I may use that term.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor James. Councillor Cody.
Sorry, I know you're going to cut this off pretty soon, or you should anyway. I appreciate all the comments I'm hearing tonight. I really want to caution, with the RCMP set up in this community, who have been providing services to the central region, and have been doing an extremely great job with the limited resources that they have. I would wholeheartedly put my support between advocating for more RCMP members to help build this detachment to service, instead of inviting a whole new detachment into the community that, again, could cause some disjointedness, because they work in tandem, but they also don't work in tandem. They are completely separate entities. And the RCMP also has resources when it comes to drug enforcement, violent crime, I'm trying to find the right words, with relation to biker gangs and intelligence services that the RNC cannot provide. So, I would advocate that we continue to pursue more our CMP officers to help build a detachment here in Grand Falls-Windsor to service the central region.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Cody.
I just got one.
Yeah, go ahead, Councillor Hollett. We're not in any hurry here.
In regards to the whole conversation, is it possible that we could make a request to the MP, Clifford Small, and see if we can get a meeting in the near future? Because, sooner we meet and the sooner we get our interests and our concerns on his desk, hopefully the sooner something will come through for us.
Yeah, good point, and I'm sure Mr. Finn will contact our Member of Parliament, Mr. Small, and set up that meeting ASAP. Thank you. Any further comments, questions with respect to Municipal Enforcement Q3 report, where we started with this conversation? There being none, we'll move on now to new business. And tonight we'll start with Councillor James.
I'm not sure I got, excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
I'll get that right eventually. I'm not sure I got any new business, but I did have a query today about, and in the minutes here, about Chow Place. Are we looking at doing some kind of a project in there? Did we discuss that Chow Place is up for some possible going on in there? Because my point is this. We had a discussion about possibly changing some street names for various reasons that all make sense. So you look at Chow Place, so if there's what, 2 houses in Chow Place?
Well, Chow Place is now renamed. So that's on a future street to be built now, the name Chow.
Oh, good, okay, because that's what I was getting at. So Chow Place is
That's
now,
already decided.
the sign is just there.
It's not changed yet, is it?
The sign is
Oh,
still
okay.
there.
Yeah, I will get it
So
changed.
that's, like, so we're renaming that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing we have a committee that looks at name changes and suggestions and stuff like that?
We have a process.
A process?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my new business. I hope to get briefed in the very near future on how that process works.
And council makes that decision on what street names are used and where the street names are used. That's a decision by council.
Thank you very much.
Councillor Hiscock.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of items. One is, of course, November the 11th. I would like to, on behalf of President Comrade Frank Way and the Poppy Chairman, Comrade Patricia Beeson, thank everybody for supporting the Poppy Tray and also for wearing a poppy and coming out for the November the 11th service. It was a big crowd, it was well attended, and on behalf of Branch 12, a big thank you from one and all for that. Also, Mr. Mayor, we were at the mall for the last Thursday for the kickoff of the Happy Tree, VOCM Happy Tree, and the Kettle Program, the Salvation Army Kettle Program. I'd just like to let everybody know that money's raised in the Kettle Program, but the Salvation Army stays in Grand Falls-Windsor, so to help out with all the necessities within our community. It was a great event, well attended, and of course, the Salvation Army Band from Citadel, or Circular Road Citadel, and Bishop Falls Citadel were the bands the band that played the music. Was phenomenal, and the kids from Forest Park Primary did a great job, sang a couple of songs, was wonderful. But Mr. Mayor, nothing kicks off Christmas like the Salvation Army Band. I got to honestly say it was just fabulous, and if anybody can, help support the VOCM Happy Tree and help, of course, support the Salvation Army Kettle. Also, I was talking to Phil Haynes today. Phil is, of course, with the Elks Club here. And he informed me that the Elks Club has a program that they support fire victims, people that were put out of their houses, and it goes towards children. So children between the ages, like newborns right up to 19, I believe it is, they will give $500 per child, up to $1,500 per family. So in the event that someone is displaced from their home. So you can get in touch with Phil or Lorraine at the Elks at 709-489-2720. And that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Council. And I would note that I think most of the council are going to be on the kettle duty for the Salvation Army, volunteering throughout the Christmas season at Canadian Tire. So thanks to all the council for participating in that, for sure. Councillor Hollett, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. It's close to Christmas, believe it or not. So the Grand Falls-Windsor Keep Christing Christmas March will be held on Sunday, November the 30th, and the march will start at 2:30 p.m. at the Park Street Salvation Army Citadel. A community carol singing will start at 3 p.m. and a light lunch will follow. All those participating in the march are asked to bring along a non-perishable food item for the food bank. There's also our light up of our community lights is going to be happening on Friday, December 5th at the Church Road Park at 6 p.m. with fireworks, and our Santa Claus parade on December the 6th, Saturday at 10 a.m., and the parade will be starting on Main Street. That's the good news. I have a couple of things that I've been brought to my attention, and that's in regard to the derelict buildings around our community and what is happening with those. So I don't expect an answer at this moment, but it's something that certainly needs to be, a lot of people are reaching out and are saying what is happening. Some of these properties have been there for decades. And so, you know, I mean, what process are we at? What do we have to do? We need to make a move on these. I mean, we're looking at infilling in regards to our residential and removing some of the old properties there. So we have to certainly look at our commercial areas as well, right, and make sure that these buildings are removed, because I mean, if you have people coming into our community looking for economic development, I mean, Main Street is directly off the highway. It's an ideal commercial area within our community. And to drive by it, it makes it, you know, it's certainly not very appealing. It would certainly be much more welcoming and more business-friendly and more inviting if those properties were down and it was just grass, or even if it was just fill, so that they had something fresh to start with. But to see these buildings there, I mean, it's certainly time that these buildings need to be sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
I mean, leaving these for much longer, it's certainly not helping our image in regards to, if you want to come in and someone wants to come into our in our community and say, can you take me around to your business districts? It's not looking good for us. I don't know if that's a deterrent for why our economic development is not more than it could be. It's certainly not helping the situation, and I'm hoping that something will be done, because that's been a long time. Like I said, some of these have been there for decades.
No, I agree, and it's hard to believe that the rules and regulations, bylaws that are set forward for these derelict buildings are all in favor of whoever owns the building. It's very difficult for us to go down Main Street, High Street, Cromer Avenue, Lincoln Road, and say to the owner, we need this building down in 30 days, or else. That's not the way the laws are set up. The laws are set up to favor the owners. And they're also set up to, you know, provide the minimum, very minimum of frontage. If you got your windows boarded up, for example, that's okay with respect to provincial legislation on derelict buildings. I would think that each and every owner of a derelict building in Grand Falls-Windsor over the last 4 to 6 years have received notice from the town of Grand Falls-Windsor asking them to, you know, improve the frontage of your property or improve your property in general. But it's hard to believe that those rules and regulations are very minimal for us to take action against owners of a current building, whether it's operating or not. So I think when we do meet with the two ministers, Tibbs and Forsey, that which should be on the agenda as well. Those rules and regulations need to be amended, or at least improved to favor the municipalities and not the owners of the buildings.
So where are we in regards to taxes? Like, has the owner of the economy stores, for instance, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's in excess of 30 years that's been a vacant building. So are the owners paying the commercial taxes on that building? And have we considered adding a vacant building, commercial building tax? Because we have the vacant land tax, that's a 15 mil rate on top of a residential. Are we considering doing something along that sort to I mean, I mean, if we're not receiving taxes, it kind of puts us into a different ballgame then, doesn't it? Like our rights change in regards to that?
Well, we are receiving tax on property. We wouldn't, if there's no business in it, we're not receiving the business tax. So everything is taxed. Now, whether or not, which ones are in arrears or on plans, I'm not quite sure. I wouldn't have that information tonight. And if council wanted to consider a vacant building tax or some type of new tax, that's a council decision. That's something for council to ponder as a body. It's not necessarily, staff can make those proposals. Also, we can research what it goes on in other municipalities if there's a similar practice that gets the effect that you want. It's not just about getting the taxation, it's about getting the effect that you want. I would suggest. But with respect to the mayor's comments, like a building that's boarded up and is in fairly good condition, there's nothing really council can do with the laws. Like, we can go in, like we can't demolish a building unless it's some kind of hazard, or it's electrical hazards, mold, these kind of, like, it has to be in very poor condition before council would issue an order to tear down a building. It's somebody's property. A house can also be boarded up, people move away and plan to come back years later. And as long as that house doesn't catch the neighbor's attention or our attention or inspector's attention, then in terms of, like, the windows look like they're rotten or steps are falling off, these kinds of exterior things that would draw our attention to the inside, those properties are pretty much left alone. And that's how the owners want it, probably. But when they get in such poor condition that it draws our attention, then we get into issuing a repair order. Then you have to work through them through a notice period where they get a reasonable opportunity to do the repair. You can't issue a repair, you can't like describe a bunch of repairs that really take 6 months to complete it and tell them they got 30 days to do it. I mean, a judge wouldn't even let you do it. At the end of the day, once you get checked later on, you gotta be reasonable. And so there's probably buildings that we could identify that we could do inspections on and issue repair orders, go through the process, and if they don't do the work, then obviously council can progress through demolition, but it's very select, you got what properties that you would actually get a result, The additional vacant land tax is also an option that could incentivize somebody if they're not interested in putting a business in it. Maybe they don't have the money to do anything, but they own the building. That's the taxation is an incentive for them maybe to sell it because now it's costing them more money to hold it than for whatever reason they're keeping it.
And like I said, it's the same principle that was applied
On the vacant land tax,
with the vacant
yeah.
land taxes. It's just using the same principle, and it's just we're transferring it from the residential. So the same theory is just being transferred to the commercial.
And that's something
And like I
that-
said, I mean, these properties, this is not some new things. These are, like you said, some of them have been decades.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think it's time for us to actually pursue, we need to, when are we planning on doing inspections? I think that's something that we should step up and really make a true effort into having these buildings look.
And like I said, the rules are set up against the municipalities with respect to this, and even more so with respect to residential properties. For us to have to go in and take down a residential property, there's a lot of legwork that got to go on between us and the provincial government and the courts to even attempt to do that. So it is difficult, and I think those rules and regulations or bylaws set out by the provincial government need to be addressed, and we can do that when we meet with the ministers for sure.
Oh, definitely. And I think it's something that we should certainly start pursuing on our end. If there's a lot of legwork, I think now's the time to get the legs moving. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hollett. Councillor Feener.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On Friday, November the 14th, myself and Ron Smith, Heritage Society representative, traveled to CBS for a award ceremony held by Newfoundland Labrador Association of Professional Planners. I'm pleased to say that Grand Falls-Windsor Heritage Society and the town of Grand Falls-Windsor were awarded the 2025 Community Builders Award in recognition of the town's planning origins and model garden city as preservation of this heritage. So I just wanted to say congratulations to everybody involved, and it was quite an interesting meeting, to say the least. So opened my eyes as to the history of our town and how we all started, how we all formed is literally amazing, and it was great. It was a great learning experience.
Right. Thank you, Councillor
Thank you.
Feener, and thank you for representing the town at that ceremony. And congratulations just to the Grand Falls-Windsor Heritage Society, and that's the second significant award they received this year for their work. So congratulations to those guys and the volunteers that make up that Heritage Society. Councillor Cody.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to, this is concert season, everybody's getting into the festive mood, but I wanted to highlight the Grand Falls-Windsor Concert Band. They're actually having their concert on Wednesday, December 17th at 7 p.m. It'll be held at the Salvation Army, the Grand Falls Citadel, and admission is by donation. So I'd encourage residents to get out and support the town band for sure. The other item I wanted to mention tonight is the Grand Falls-Windsor Fire Department youth firefighters are hosting or are having a fundraising effort. It's a Sponsor a Helmet campaign. And it's for helmets for the youth firefighter program. They're reaching out to businesses and organizations. They may have already received a letter. I know I see a lot of the helmets that have already been sponsored have been highlighted on Facebook through the Youth Firefighters page, and it's wonderful to see so many businesses supporting that cause. So if you are interested in sponsoring a helmet, again, the cost is $500. The helmet they anticipate will have a life of 10 years, and you'll also get your community, your business, or your organization's logo on that helmet as well. So you'll be recognized for as long as that helmet is in use, for a small fee of $500. So if you're interested in sponsoring a helmet, you can reach out to the fire department by calling 709-489-0430. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cody, for that. I just got a couple things here. I think it was last week or in the last 10 days or so, we lost a great person in our community in Sister Brendan Lynch, who was certainly a significant part of Grand Falls-Windsor in her day. And we respect the music, for sure. There's hundreds, literally hundreds, and probably thousands of students that grew up in Grand Falls-Windsor and took music and singing lessons from Sister Lynch, who was a member of the Presentation Sisters. I think she moved to St. John's at some point and continued her talents out there, teaching the students out there, and ended up in the St. John's Kiwanis Music Festival Hall of Fame for her efforts there. So certainly our condolences to the Lynch family on the passing of Sister Brendan. Secondly, just to follow up on Councillor Hollett's comments with respect to the light-up and the Santa Claus Day Parade. The light-up ceremony takes place at 6 p.m. on December 5th, and the fireworks that we had intended to display on Canada Day, and then we tried it again later in the fall, and it was just too dry to set off. So those fireworks that fireworks display will commence at 8 p.m. From the Oil Mill property, as the previous fireworks displays had taken place. So something for the citizens to look forward to, a big weekend in Grand Falls-Windsor with the park light up and the Santa Claus Parade on December 6th on Saturday, as Councillor Hollett noted. And certainly two big hockey games in Grand Falls-Windsor this weekend. The Cataracts are hosting the first place Deer Lake Red Wings. And if you haven't been down to see a Cataract game or yet this year, the team is much improved from last year. The boys did a lot of work over the winter and recruited a lot of good players, and a lot of them are local players as well. So we encourage everybody to go down Saturday evening at 7:30 or Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock to take in some great hockey action. With that, I don't think I have anything else. I'll have go ahead, Councillor Hiscock, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Sorry, one item I forgot to bring up, but anyhow, with regards of streetlights.
Right.
It's getting darker sooner now, and the town, of course, pays for the streetlights, whether they're working or not. So we would ask the people to notify the Newfoundland Power website about where the light is out, or you can reach us at the town, reported at 489-0420 or 489-0427. Right. And we'll get after Light and Power to get those lights fixed as soon as they possibly can. Thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Hiscock. Councillor Janes.
If I may, thank you, Mayor. I was a bit remiss. This past Friday night, a bunch of us, everybody except for Sean around here, we attended the firemen's function up at the fire hall. Presentation of awards and honorariums and all that stuff. Our community people, Rhonda and Angela and all their group, put off an extremely great function. Great food. It was a lot of fun. I know the firefighters had a lot of enthusiasm going. They really, really enjoyed it. We all stuck around for a good length of time, and I'm happy to report on a personal note that on behalf of myself and Mayor Brown that we won the Cornhole Championship 4 straight. We were challenged by Chris Parsons and Bill Hancock from the town. They took an awful shellacking. And Mayor Brown has got the plaque in tow. We're having it etched by our counterparts tomorrow, and we're looking forward to sometime early next week to have an official ceremony up at the town hall, or up at the fire hall to present and have it put up on the wall. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Janes, and you're right. It was a great evening, and council does, and the staff get together with the firefighters every year. And once a year to present it with their honorariums and to go over other business with them. And certainly the Grand Falls-Windsor Fire Department is probably the one of the most respected, not only in Newfoundland and Labrador, but across the country. And we got some good leadership out there. And I'm happy to report that the Grand Falls-Windsor Fire Department have recruited a lot of new members in the recent months, and a lot of younger members. Almost full is right, so that certainly is encouraging as well. Thank you, Councillor Janes. If there's nothing else, I'll call for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Hiscock, second by Councillor Janes. All in favor? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, and we'll see everybody back again in 3 weeks.